Is it too late to plant bulbs? Heck no, it's bulb crunch time.
Hi, I'm Ty, and I'm on a mission to grow as much as I can here at PDX Garden Home, a half-acre urban garden in Portland, Oregon, Zone 8B. I pursue this goal to donate harvest to food pantries, establish the capacity to feed my family if ever that was needed, and of course for the love of gardening. I'm lucky to have found something that gives me joy and provides a bit of service to my community. Come along, let me show you what I've been up to this week. I'm planting 700 plus bulbs this year, and while that's not a large amount by the standards of a bulb enthusiast, that's a lot to plant when you do them one by one like I do. So I'm a bit behind by most gardener standards when it comes to getting bulbs in the ground. It's now late November. However, the soil is still workable, so I think planting now is fine. There's plenty of time for them to get the cold temps they need to shoot up a long stem and bloom next spring. Most of the bulbs I'm planting are tulips because the daffodils planted in prior years should keep coming back. I planted several hundred daffs last year, so we'll see if they indeed do come back. I'm planting 50 more daffs this year and some crocuses as well. Planting bulbs feels a little like cheating. I just stick the magic bulb in the ground and get a flower 6 to 7 months later. These are faux wine barrels, made from some sort of resin. I've had them for years now. I originally purchased them from Costco. The first step in planting bulbs in these pots is cleaning up the pots, pulling out the summer flowers that aren't going to survive the cold, and making room for digging down to plant the bulbs. The grass centerpieces here were planted 3 years ago. Well, I think these pots are cleaning up nicely. The blue tape on my drill auger is to give me a guideline on how far down to go. I want to get about 6 inches. The soil in these pots is soft enough that I don't really need to use this auger. I could use a stick or a dibbler of similar size. But I have the auger on hand anyway. So this is convenient. Well, it's definitely fall. Or with the low temperatures we've been getting, you might say it's winter. It's been 40s during the days and 30s at night. In the greenhouse, I have an electric heater that is just keeping it above freezing. So far, that's working. It's keeping some of my peppers alive. I'm also growing some traditional winter veg like lettuce, chard, and cabbage in here. One thing that could be hard to remember is to water. It's wet and cold outside, but inside the greenhouse, even though it's cold, the plants will at some point still dry out. So I have to water occasionally. Not as often as the summer. I do this routine about once every week to week and a half at this point. It's been incredibly frigid but dry, and that gives us the opportunity to use the little electric wood chipper. It's also an opportunity to take a break from the non-stop drilling of holes and placing bulbs. We've got a large pile of branches to chip up. It's amazing how a large pile of branches turns into a fairly small pile of chips. While I'm planting bulbs, I'm digging up the dahlia tubers in the pots or in the nearby beds. have enough potting soil to fill all of the pots we have here at PDX Garden Home, so I made some of my own, combining perlite, some peat moss, and my own compost. I call this bed the laundry bed because it's across from the laundry room door. Earlier this summer, these holes showed up around this bed. It looks like it could be some sort of rodent tunneling. Now that I've dug up the holes to see if there's some kind of rodent's nest there, all I found is dirt. This will be the third year that I'm planting pink tulips in this bed, so I think these holes could have been what was left from squirrels or rodents digging up those tulips. Before I plant more tulips here, I'm trimming back the roses aggressively. They're pretty vigorous growers. They get branches all over the place. So yeah, I'm trimming them back. I did this last year as well. Experience tells me they'll come back just fine with lots of roses. And we actually have a rose right here that's getting ready to bloom end of November. In prior videos, I've been talking about how I plan to dig my holes deeper for bulbs in order to prevent squirrels from digging them up. At first I was drilling holes like what I did in the pots in this area, but then I realized that isn't going to be as efficient because of the number of bulbs that I'm trying to put in here. In this situation, rather than taking the time to drill holes right next to each other, I find it's better to just dig a trench and place your bulbs side by side in the trench. Plus, in this case, this bed has been hard clay, even though I've put down an inch or so of compost in each of the last 2 years. So digging this up, I can just throw the clay I've dug up in one of my junk piles that's out of the way. Then after placing the tulips, I'll refill this area with my homemade compost. That way, I'll have both planted out the tulips and amended this bed for better tilth all in one afternoon.